What's up everybody and welcome back to Race Review. This is a super exciting race that I did about a month ago at the Scottish Team Racing Championships. It's a super exciting event that I've always wanted to do, and from the forecast it looked like we were going to have terrible wind all weekend. We might not even get racing at all, but on both the Saturday and the Sunday we managed to get a little breeze in, and that meant that we could run most of a round robin, and then we also managed to get into semis and finals. And this right here is a race from the semi-finals, and we wanted to win so badly, so we knew that we had to make it through the semi-finals to try and get into the finals to have a shot at winning. And my team are in the pink boats, which is unfortunate because we're currently setting up for a terrible start. You can see one of our boats is spinning down at the bottom there, and then we've got a 2-on-1 at the front with my teammate Otter, and then there's me, who's in a one-on-one, as I'm meant to be trying to win the boat end of the line, and it's not looking very good because we're in super light winds, we're a little bit late, and I'm quite worried that they're just going to have a 1-2 off the line. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stay high, control my pair, whilst Otter drives the other two boats down the line, and I'm looking to try and get a gap at the boat end of the line and maybe sneak in, which is what I try and do, and I'm helped by a little bit of a header which pushes the opponents down the line, and I managed to sneak in at the boat end and get a pretty decent start, although as you can see the line's a little bit pin biased, which means that I'm not quite where I want to be. My teammate tacks out from underneath me, and what we're in the mode we're in right now is just don't let the opponents get into a 1-2. So they're in a position where that boat out the top is almost certainly going to get the 1, and so we need to do everything we can to stop them getting the 2 so we have a chance of converting back. So I tack out because I know that if I stay where I am, that boat who I was on top of is going to slide out from underneath me, and then Otter comes back to control him, and now I know that I need to beat the boat out the right, and I need to put pressure on the boat going forwards. I'm always looking upwind at this point, looking for a bit of breeze, looking for patches. When it's light like this, and it's shifty at this location, you just have to be keeping the boat moving fast and sailing it a little bit like a fleet race, because although you want to be with your pairs, although you want to be in control of the opposition, you also just need to keep the boat moving. So I never let an opponent sit on me. I'm trying to do nice roll tacks. I'm trying to push to the ley lines and get in the place I need to be. Now right here you can see I let an opponent sit on me briefly. I know we're near the ley line. It looks like that boat on the far right, they've done the opposite of what I've just been talking about. They've banged a corner, which is really bad in these kind of conditions because there were so many subtle variations in the wind and the shift. And you're also missing out on those opportunities to put in those amber light tacks, keep the boat moving, keep on pushing through. And when you're behind especially, you need to always be pushing 42 a little bit and just trying to keep that boat moving, never letting it stop. So we come around the mark in a 2-3-6. We've got a big 6. So you can see here straight away what I call that we're going to push forward. We're going to try and take that 1 off them and convert to a 1-2. So I'm getting in a position where I can cover that boat who's in the lead downwind. I'm attacking forward. My teammate is accelerating around the top mark, and he's now coming to. We're not really close enough to get a double cover on, but at this point I'm still thinking that the best case scenario is that if we push forward, then we can have a 1-2. They can't really do anything to attack us. Now, as we bear away, you'll notice that very quickly reach a run, and then the opponent jibes. So now I'm behind them, but I'm not really in a great covering position. And I'm starting to realise this too. Our teammate in 6 has caught up a lot, so she's been tacking really quickly up that first beat, and they're not too far behind the boat in 5. So right at this point here, you can see that I make the call back to my teammate Otter that we're actually going to hit backwards, and we're not going to go forwards. We're going to attack back, and we're going to play for a 2-3-4 from the back of the race. So the boat in 1 also slows up because she doesn't want to get too disconnected from the back of the race. She wants to stay near her teammates in case the opportunity to convert to a 1-2 presents itself. She doesn't want to just sail away around the course. And you can see my teammates taking out one of those boats with a nice luff there when they try and pass their stern. And now I'm thinking, you can see that boat on the far left is in different pressure to me. I've got a couple of boats creating turbulence behind me, so my goal is to really quickly get across to that side of the course so there's no way for them to sail all the way around the outside, because that would be disastrous. And this was maybe one of the points in the race where I should have managed that a bit better and been a little bit more central, because if they'd got a shift there, if they'd got a puff, they might have been through and have got us. And so here, what I'm doing is I'm constantly watching the overlap and making sure they don't break it, so then I'm not affected by rule 17. You can see they're shouting that they think the overlap's broken, but I don't think from this video they were ever really anywhere near breaking it. And in fact, even when I bear away there, I don't think they've broken the overlap at any point. But I'm playing it safe. I'm stopping when I know that the overlap hasn't been broken, so that no umpire flags can go against me, and I can see that I've already got the conversion off of my teammate. In fact, I want to be coming through quite early there in case that boat in 1 had tried to do anything there, so I could have helped to push them around the mark. Now, as it is, they've gone round anyway. My teammate secures the 5 by putting a small luff on that boat, that enemy boat, allowing us to come through in a really strong 2-3-4. And what's really nice about this is that there's also a little bit of space between us. So when a 2-3-4 is really compressed on the bottom reach, what that means is it can be quite easy for a boat in 1 to go for a jibe back. But when the boats are strung out, like in this race, they have much fewer options. And in fact, even more than that in this race, I've pressed on a lot. And what that means is because I'm underneath that boat in 1, they don't even have the space to go for a jibe back. So that means that I can push them around the mark, and again, because of that space, as we come around the mark, I can then look for a tack option, because I know that when I tack, I'm going to pass ahead of my teammates, and I'm not going to have to force them into a really bad lane. Now, the reason I've tacked is because as I'm the boat in first out of my 3 boats, I'm the least in danger, so I can push out towards the port ley line, whereas my teammates want to stay to the right of those boats behind them, so they always have that starboard advantage when they reconverge. And those boats who have just come around the mark on the enemy team are both looking to try and tack out. They want to get into clean wind. They want to get into different wind than us. They want to be creating options for themselves. And the way which we can control that as a winning team is we're going to pair up with them, and we're going to make sure that we never let them go out on their own. So you can see one of their boats is tacking off there. Now, I choose to hold for a little bit because I think that boat in 4 is maybe a little bit faster. My teammate starts to come across. And probably I should have gone with that first boat who tacked there, but my teammates come across, they're covering the central boat now, so we've got that pair covered. I'm still quite far left to be able to control that boat 5, and one of our teammates is pushing on to keep pushing their boat in 1 towards the finish line, so I then tack when one of their boats tacks, and you can see this is just helping cover that left side of the beat. Now again, at this point, I actually think that one of us should have also gone here, another one of our boats. Then we had 2 boats on that left hand side of the beat, because in fact if you look upwind on the left, you can see there's a bit of pressure coming down, and that's actually going to be quite important because that's going to fill in and mean that boats coming up the left can actually speed in towards the line quite fast. So as we're approaching the line, I'm feeling a little bit worried, so I call my teammate back towards the centre. I say, come back towards the centre, cover this blue boat, this blue enemy boat, and we're going to keep trucking towards the line. And you will actually notice in a minute the drone battery dies, but as we come into the finish line, you can see that boat on the top being hit by that patch of wind, and that propels them in towards the finish line really fast, but we still have a 2-3 there, and even though they overtake our teammate, because we're paired up, we end the race in a 2-3-5, which in a semi-final is a winning combination, which gets us through the race and allows us to get into the finals, where we promptly lose 2 races in a row and come second. But second team in Scotland, not bad at all. What an awesome event and a super duper exciting race. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing.